Alrighty, howdy neighbors and welcome back to Cabin Fever. Last time we got to learn a little bit more about Mallory and what caused her to come up here, which is nothing great. Anyway, let's continue. Chapter 4, Integration. Next morning I woke to the sound of rain softly pelting the window. The storm had passed, leaving only a damp, drizzly day behind. I kept my eyes closed and listened to the faint sound of the rain dripping from the downspout along the house. I stretched out my arms. The bedroom was empty and cold. Mallory had gone. But I knew she had to be there because I could still feel her on my skin. Ew. It felt extra chilly. I got out of bed and dressed up warm, pulling on a pair of worn-out slippers. I made my way downstairs. Right away, I spotted Mallory in the kitchen. I felt my face break into a smile. She had a bucket and a bunch of rags. She'd been cleaning quite furiously with a cloth and a spray bottle in hand.
Good morning.
She settled upright, fumbling and dropping the spray bottle. It clattered on the floor at her feet.
You scared me.
Sorry. I guess these slippers add +1 to my sneak ability.
Mallory bent to pick up the bottle. Stood back up, I noticed how red her cheeks were, and how the rest of her face looked almost sickly pale.
Are you feeling okay?
She quickly averted her gaze.
I'm fine. I just got dizzy from standing up so quickly.
She's down with the sickness. I didn't think I really believed her. She was feeling awkward, maybe even hiding something. I did something to make her uncomfortable. I looked around at the Brooklyn kitchen, the cabinets, appliances, and dishes all gleaming like new.
You must have woken up really early to get this much work done. Did you get enough sleep?
What's that? Oh, yes I did.
When her face softened and her tone turned sincere.
I think last night was the best sleep I've ever had.
My heart fluttered with the acknowledgement, and with the memory of falling asleep with her in my arms.
Good. I agree.
She nodded and turned back to finishing up her chores in the kitchen. I decided to check in with work stuff, so I booted my computer. There was only a handful of emails needing attention. I handled those at glance through my work deadlines, making sure I was still on track with each of my freelance jobs. For whatever reason, I wasn't finding it easy to focus. I kept glancing out the window, then zoning out as I watched the dribbling rain. I did get that right. The show knows how it's stopping. It was an empty glass I'd left on the table outside. It was filled to the brim with rainwater. The soaked wooden planks of the deck looked dark like caramel. I thought about the coming winter. I'd have to show Mallory how to protect the garden and the hens and the bees when the colder weather came. And there was all the fun things we could do together. I wonder if she'd ever been tobogganing before, or had a bonfire on the snow. If I could find somewhere online to buy marshmallows and order them right away, they might get dropped off sometime in the winter. There came a sudden clatter and thud from the kitchen. I jumped up, nearly knocking my coffee mug off the desk.
Mallory?
She didn't answer. I stood up quickly, walking over to see what happened. My throat tightened when I looked past the counter. Yeah, she's down with the sickness. Mallory lay sprawled on the floor, her cheeks red and beads of sweat gleaming on her forehead. Her eyes were closed, her head gently lolling to the side.
Mallory!
I rushed to her side, dropping to my knees and propping her head up in my arms. I started for scream warmed my hands. She was burning up. A groan left her lips, and her eyes floated open.
Mallory, are you okay?
Hey there. Why are we on the floor?
My gaze seemed to drift past me, as though she hadn't heard him focusing.
You must have fainted. I knew something wasn't right. Why didn't you tell me?
I'm fine. It was just a sudden dizzy spell. I haven't eaten breakfast, that's probably it.
But I could feel her body starting to tremble, where her skin felt fever hot. and yet there were goosebumps on her arms and legs. Shit. Her only instinct now was to make sure she was okay. I lifted her up to the floor.
Oh my, what are you doing? Ew, put me down!
I quickly carried her over to the couch and put her down there. Covered her in blankets and tucked her in tightly. My face set with grim determination. I pushed her hair back and feel her forehead and ignored the anxious way my stomach clenched. I hurried back to the kitchen, grabbed the temperature scanner from the drawer, and returned to Mallory's side.
Honestly, I'm fine. I probably just overworked myself.
Not buying it.
Oh no! It went bum. I held the scanner. It seemed to take forever to come up with a reading. When it did, my heart sank.
You definitely have a fever.
Mallory seemed to shrink under the blankets. Seeing her like this, looking so helpless and uncertain, made my heart feel like it was being painfully squeezed.
Is it your leg? Let me look at it. Maybe you've developed an infection. When did you start feeling sick? This morning? We can get your temperature under control with some aspirin, no worries. And then we'll go from there.
I didn't know when I had started to pace, but there it was. Heading this way and that, making my way over to the kitchen to search for whatever it was that could help her. I filled the glass with water and reached up to my cupboards for the aspirin bottle, grateful to have kept a supply. Except it wasn't there. Where was it? I misplaced it. Maybe Mallory had put it away someplace or somewhere else by mistake. But I lost the water anyway. Use a damp cloth to cool her forehead.
Shh. Just relax and let me take care of you for a minute, okay?
She opened her mouth to argue. Probably. But back down, she saw a look in my eyes. I moved to her feet and pushed back the blanket to expose her injured leg. Carefully unwrapped the gauze and peeled back the bandages to see what was going on. There was bruising all over the wound, and it was a bit swollen, but then it had only been a few days. The only process why something like this would take weeks.
I should be keeping a closer eye on this.
I shook my head.
Drink your water, okay? And you should have something to eat. What would you like?
I'm not really hungry. I just feel a bit tired. I'm sure I'll feel good as new if I just have a little nap.
The dog concerned sighed, but agreed. After tucking her in a little tighter, crossed back to the kitchen and stood there aimlessly for a minute or two. Didn't know what to do. I got a pot of soup, said my brain. Good idea, brain, I thought.
Carrots, onions, celery, potatoes. Potatoes? Oh no, of course I don't have potatoes.
I muttered to myself as I was searching my kitchen for ingredients, and began roughly chopping what I had. There was some rice in the pantry, I knew, some peas in the freezer. Soon I was tipping my soup ingredients into the pot with a shower of salt and dried parsley. Covered all of it with the stock I made from chicken bones and veggie scraps, then let it simmer. When I crept back over to check on Mallory, I found her deeply asleep. I exchanged the damp cloth on her forehead and piled more blankets around her. I just sat there watching her, feeling dismayed. Deep down, I knew what this could be, but I didn't want to think about that. And if I did have to think about it, I didn't want to believe it. So neither. And if I had every reason to believe it. Nope. I stood up and returned to the kitchen, giving the bubbling soup a stir. I remembered the aspirin. I started searching for it again, checking each of the drawers and cabinets. I searched the restroom and the living room, even getting down on my knees to see if it had rolled beneath some furniture. That's when I spotted it, hidden beneath the couch where Mallory was resting. I reached under the couch and grabbed the bottle. A feeling of immense dread began to form within me. I could already tell by the weight of the bottle in the silence as I turned it, but I had to say to believe it. I popped off the cap and looked inside. The bottle was empty. At least 20, maybe 30 tablets gone in less than a week. I looked up at Mallory's sleeping face. I jumped at a loud thwack on the window. Rationally, I wondered if someone had thrown a rock. It was more likely that a bird had flown into the glass, usually considering how clean it had been since Mallory came to stay. I went to the window to check it. Sure enough, a large black bird lay dead on the porch. I appeared to have snapped its neck when it hit the window. Oh no!
Mallory would hate to see that.
I glanced back at her, a little worried I'd wake her up by talking to myself. But even the loud noise the bird hitting the window hadn't caused her to stir. In that moment, I realized I was clutching the empty aspirin bottle. I looked down at it. She must have been taking them in secret, but why? The pain in her leg? Or some other ailment? A overwhelming sense of frustration washed over me in that moment. Without thinking, my hand squeezed the bottle so tightly that it broke. I threw the broken bottle in the trash and stormed outside to deal with the dead bird's body. It wasn't until that evening that Mallory woke up. She started coughing right away, even as she sat up clutching the blankets close to her.
Huh? What time is it?
Don't get up. At least not so fast. Let me help you.
I stood in the kitchen, tending the soup that had been keeping warm for hours. Mallory looked around groggily, rubbing her eyes.
But it's nighttime. Why did you let me sleep so long? I only wanted to rest for an hour or so.
If you need it, you need it.
That's not what your body wanted. I'm glad you got some rest anyway. It was clearly much needed.
Though I told her not to move yet, she bundled the blankets around her, made her way over to the kitchen.
Hi.
Hi. She leaned against the support beam. Her cheeks were still red and her eyelids looked heavy. The way she wrapped the blanket around herself made her resemble a colorful turtle, with her long slender arms poking out to hold onto the beam.
How do you feel?
My muscles are a bit achy, but I don't feel cold anymore. I think all the blankets you piled on top of me helped.
I nodded and turned my attention back to the stove. I wanted to ask about the aspirin, but I was nervous.
Wait, are you cooking?
She took a step toward me, trying to peer into the pot, then wobbled, and I returned to the support beam. It looked as though she barely had any strength to stand. Bit my tongue, not wanting to be overbearing. I'd get her to sit back down by offering her some food.
I am. It's ready to eat now. Go have a seat and I'll bring you a bowl.
I half expected her to argue, to insist that she can get her own bowl, or that I should sit while she served me. But instead, she just backed away and went to sit at the table.
It looks really good. Thank you for making it.
Of course, my dear.
My pleasure. I bet you thought I had no cooking skills. Well, it's finally my time to shine.
She laughed, half-heartedly. Me too, dude.
I look forward to seeing what you're capable of, Cooking Senpai.
Hello? She folded her blanket neatly over the chair beside her and placed her arms on the table to form a pillow for her head. She sat there with her head down until I set the bowl of soup beside her.
Oh, that looks so wonderful.
She leaned over the steaming bowl with her eyes closed. Pulling back her hair, she breathed in slowly.
I use lots of spices. They make all the difference when flavoring a dish.
It's almost like that's how cooking works. I gave her a little wink and she smiled.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Both raised steaming spoonfuls of soup, blowing on them softly. Only Mallory's exhalation turned to raspy, hiss as she started to cough. She dropped her spoon back into the bowl and held a hand to her throat. She drew a deep breath, looking dismayed.
I'm so sorry.
Too spicy?
No, I can't. I don't know why.
I tried her best to stifle the coughs with little success. A nervous laugh came out of her mouth.
Those autumn allergies are so annoying, am I right?
She didn't answer, breathing very slowly and focusing really hard on bringing a spoonful of soup to her mouth. She slurped it, and honestly, she looked like she wanted to throw up.
That bad?
No, I...
She was racked with another coughing fit. Her chest seemed to rattle with every breath. I couldn't stand seeing her like this. I went to her, rubbing her back as I pushed a glass of water into her hands.
Here, drink some.
She nodded and clutched the glass hard, trying her best to drink while her chest heaved. When minute later, after she managed to take a few steps, she was able to breathe a little more easily.
I'm so sorry. I can't seem to stop.
Yeah, I know why. I could tell you why, right here, right now.
You don't have to be sorry.
It began to roll down her face. It splashed onto the table, and into her neglected soup bowl.
What if...
Shh.
More tears dripped from her eyes. More coughs rattled in her chest.
You don't have to worry. Everything will be okay. All you need to do is rest and let me take care of you. This will pass.
It will not.
I think I maybe just want to lie down.
Okay. I'll help you upstairs to the bed. He'll be extra comfy there.
She gave me a small nod. Her eyes were puffy and red as she gathered up her blankets in her arms. We headed for the stairs. I walked with her, taking the steps one at a time and holding her in case she lost her strength. Her skin felt even hotter, burning me even through her sleeve. She needed a fever reducer, that was certain. I made a mental note to check when the new bottle of aspirin I'd ordered would arrive. Once we made it to the upper floor, Mallory pushed me away and started coughing into her blankets, doubling over and trying to muffle the sound of her pain. I unfurled the bed covers and helped her climb in. Straightened out her collection of blankets and pulled all the covers up over her.
All these blankets are so heavy. I can barely move.
Good. That means you're tucked in, safe and sound.
I brushed her hair back, twisting the side of her burning face with my fingertips.
I'm going to get you some water and things. And then I'll be back, okay?
I hurried back downstairs and started loading up a tray with water, a few damp face cloths, and a red bowl of soup. I wanted her to have it right there beside her the minute she had an appetite. But of course, that wouldn't be enough. I racked my brain for anything I had in the house that could help drive down her fever. It hit me. My mother used to talk about the healing properties of basil and garlic. I couldn't quite recall the specifics, but it was something, and I had both those items growing in my house. I rushed over to the kitchen to fill the kettle with water. While that was coming to a boil, I darted into the aquaponics room. There were 4 medium-sized basil plants, sitting happily under the glow lights, waiting for me to harvest their emerald petals. In that moment, my heart inflated twice its size, full of joy that I might finally be able to do something to help soothe Mallory's pain. I plucked a handful of leaves from the basil plants, which were different strains, but I didn't think it would matter. First I dug up some garlic and extracted a homemade jar of honey that was sitting in the back shelf. Looking around all the plants and the fish, I did one last scan in case there was anything else I could use. On impulse I spotted a bright red hibiscus flower in bloom and plucked it. The lone flower had an unusually bright color amongst all the other dark, leafy greens. Dashing back to the kitchen, I added the garlic, basil, and honey to the boiling water. The concoction probably wouldn't taste very good, but I hoped it would soothe her throat and help with her cough. Delicately, I placed the flower on the tray, along with a mug of freshly brewed tea. The smell was overpowering. Maybe she wouldn't be able to smell it. Then on the stairs, I could hear Mallory coughing. She wasn't trying to stifle it anymore. I paused on the steps, waiting for her to finish letting it out. A small groan followed the coughing fit. I climbed the rest of the way up the stairs, plastering what I hoped was an optimistic expression on my face.
Hey, I'm back. And I brought you your soup, in case you have an appetite. Also, some tea that should help with that cough.
She pulled up the covers close to her face in a poor attempt to hide herself. I rested the tray next to the bed and placed one of the damp cloths on her forehead. In the dim light of the bedside lamp, I could see trickles of sweat on her face, neck, and chest.
But you're doing too much for me.
Please, it doesn't feel like enough. Isn't there anything else I can get for you?
My expression turned into a perplexed one in the moment. She forced a little smile.
Well, now that you mention it, I could use some tissues.
Ah, right. I've got some in this drawer here. Ta-da!
Concern. She took the packet of tissues and turned her face away, having a wet, guttural cough.
Why are you so determined to take care of me?
The case was filled with hope and confusion. took her hand in mine and gave it a small squeeze.
You would do the same for me, wouldn't you?
Her lips parted and eyes opened wide. She gave me a soundless nod of reassurance.
It's a no-brainer. I care about you and want you to feel better. It's as simple as that.
The long silence between us, then, exchanging our knowing looks with gentle hand squeezes. I thought about the aspirin, the 20 or 30 pills that had disappeared in the space of a few days.
Hey, I found the aspirin bottle, by the way.
She gasped, pulling her hand from mine to cover her face.
I'm so sorry. I should have said something sooner.
I mean, yeah, you should have. Was it for your leg? To stop it hurting? Or did you know you were developing a fever? You know what? It doesn't matter. I placed an order for more. It should be here tomorrow or the next day, I think. I want you to know that I'm grateful to have you here. And I care about you very much.
Parting her fingers to let her eyes peek through, she slowly lowered her defenses.
I don't want to be sick.
I know.
I don't want you to get sick.
I'm not worried about that.
You can't be near me. You need to stay away.
I switched out next to her on the bed, my face resting close to hers. Why are we dumb? Why are we dumb?
I'm staying right here, by your side, no matter what.
She turned to look at the tray of soup. The water and tea beside it.
What a pretty flower. Where did it come from?
He reached over to gently pick up the scarlet blossom.
From my fish garden, or whatever you called it. It must have opened up today. I don't remember seeing it when I fed the fish yesterday.
It's beautiful. What type of flower is it?
A hibiscus. They only bloom for a short while, so we're lucky we got to see it.
She lay there with her eyes closed and the flower pressed to her nose.
The petals make a wonderful tea. I'll make you some with the other blossoms, if you like.
Riley opened her eyes but didn't look at me. She was staring into space, deep in thought. She can't smell it, can she?
What is it?
Oh, nothing. The rain sounds nice. I think it's making me sleepy.
I didn't quite believe that. It seemed like there was something she didn't want to say. But I couldn't push her now.
That's perfectly alright. You have sweet dreams now.
Good night.
Bye. I lay there watching her breathe, counting the minutes between each coughing fit. Pressing my hand on her burning chest so I could feel her heartbeat. Okay, we're getting a little weird. I had been someone like this before. My parents. I tried my best to care for them when they were sick. I've been so afraid, but I hadn't gotten sick. Part of me always wondered, even hoped, if I might be immune. That thought in the back of my mind hadn't eased my fear of strangers, of Mallory, when she had first appeared in my life. But now I didn't care. Either way, all I wanted was for her to get better. Until I drifted off to sleep too. Chapter 8, Infection. We did it, boys! In the middle of the night, something woke me up. The sound of the wind, an animal. Whatever it was, it had pulled me out of some dream. I sat up and listened. The night was quiet. No, it's not. Nothing but crickets and white noise. As I really needed to pee. Carefully, so as not to wake up Mallory, I got out of bed. I went downstairs to the restroom, having to sleep in the dark. After I was done, I went to the kitchen for some water. I stood by the window with my glass, looking out at the sleeping world. I wasn't used to being awake at this hour. It was a little eerie. I glanced up at the dark loft where Mallory slept. For a while, her coughing had kept her and me awake. So I rubbed her back until we both drifted off. Thankfully, she was sleeping peacefully now, getting the rest she needed. Worrying me, my stomach feels sick, my chest feels hollow.
There's no way I'm getting back to sleep now.
I paced back and forth for a minute, dragging my hands across my face. I needed a distraction. Something to shut down my brain, or at least get rid of the nervous energy. Shaking my head, I went to my desk and dropped into my chair. Computers were usually pretty distracting. I turned on the monitor and pulled out my keyboard. There was a membrane keyboard, so I didn't have to worry about making too much noise while I was typing. There were more emails waiting in my inbox. One was from a colleague who worked out of Vietnam. The time difference would have meant it was late in the afternoon over there, so she was probably wrapping up her workday as I sat there in the darkest hour of the night. The shaded line read, "Remedy distribution underway." I was reading it made my blood boil. So sick of these empty promises, and for what? I opened the email anyway, thinking maybe I could find whoever started the viral forwarding chain and send them a piece of my mind. Then my curiosity was piqued. The body of the email was surprisingly official-looking, Global Health Authority logo on its top. There are multiple language options. I scrolled to the appropriate section, and so did it read.
Public notice. The worldwide distribution of R-Pandavax is underway. Please read on for information on how and where to seek treatment. Patients who receive R-Pandavax have a 96% chance of recovering, up from the 45% seen with traditional medical intervention. Right, I wish. R-Pandavax rollouts are now taking place, with med tents being set up outside major hospital locations in the countries and cities listed below. Symptomatic individuals should visit their nearest med tent as soon as possible for assessment and hospital admission.
Hang on. This couldn't be real, could it? I scanned on the list, and then I saw it. The name of our city.
Is this actually real? Our Pandavax treatment will be administered free of charge with identification requirements relaxed by emergency order. Our Pandavax may also have a preventative effect, and individuals who have not been infected may opt to receive an immunizing dose.
I scrolled up, down, searching the screen for evidence that it was fake, a scam, a lie. Pulled up the internet to search our Pandavax. At least 100 articles came up, all posted within the last 24 hours. Bulletins from different news sources, statements from researchers, schedules being shared.
Mallory!
I held up toward the loft, my voice shaking like crazy. He is not leaving the screen. Stood up, tremors running through my whole body.
Mallory, it's real! Mallory, we have to go now!
I was dashing up the stairs, staggering toward the bed, ready to pick her up and carry her out of the cabin if I had to. Couldn't believe this. Couldn't believe our luck. It felt like a dream. Could it really be real? I reached across the bed for her and... she wasn't there.
Mallory?
I looked around the dark room wildly.
Mallory!
Cabin remained silent. My heart pounded. Where was she? I raced back down the stairs, calling out again and again as I searched the cabin, throwing open the door to the aquaponics room and the restroom and the storage room, frantic. Where was she? That's when I noticed something resting on the kitchen table. A small notebook left open. I went over and picked it up. The top page had a note written in purple ink. A lump formed in my throat and my stomach twisted.
We both know I have it. My only hope is that it's not too late. That I haven't passed it to you. Because I want you to carry on with your life.
Nah.
Don't worry about me. I'm going back home to find out what happened to my sister. Whatever the answer is, I'm comforted to know we'll see each other again soon. I hope you know I would have stayed with you forever. But I'm thankful we had the time that we did. Love, Mallory.
Bye, Mallory. Did a letter. No. I'd only just been laying in bed next to her. I'd only just found out that I might actually be able to help her. Now she was gone. I crumpled the paper in my hand, forming a tight fist. In that moment, I was ready to put a hole through my wall. My heart was racing. I couldn't think straight.
Damn it!
I had to go after her. Couldn't have made it far, not with her leg and how sick she was. I was determined to find her, convince her to come back, convince her that we should be together, whatever the circumstances. She needed to know how I felt about her, and how she meant to me. I raced to get dressed, throwing on a sweater and the first pair of pants I found, putting my feet into some shoes and grabbing the crank-powered flashlight off the side table. There wasn't time to think, I just had to move. I pushed through the front door now onto the porch, nearly tripping over the steps before racing across the muddy lawn, my feet splashing in puddles. I was panting, sprinting almost blindly through the dark, in whatever direction I thought Mallory might have gone. I was through the garden, over the hill, and nearing the woods when... Oh no! I forgot I moved the trap! Oh! Suddenly I slammed against the ground. Pain shot through me. It took me a moment to get my bearings and understood what had happened. The trap. How the hell? But no, I completely forgotten about moving it. How did I let this happen? I forgot! I sagged against the ground, gritting my teeth. I can't let this slow me down. I gathered the strength to push myself up and looked back at my foot. It was my foot that had been caught. At a strange angle. I could only assume that it was because of the way I'd been running so fast, particularly flying over the sloped ground. I twisted and reached to release the trap, which took a few tries. Finally I was able to scramble away and stand up. The pain in my foot was excruciating. No time to deal with that now. I continued down the path, limping heavily and bleeding into my shoe, calling Mallory's name. As I made my way, I shoved my hand in my sweater pocket, pulled out the flashlight. Same one that had led me to Mallory that first night. Oh, the sound of the flashlight just gave me the shivers. Ugh. I immediately started cranking it, hoping against hope that it would lead me to her again. But as I entered the trees, I stopped, hesitating. Mallory's note said that she was headed back to the city, to on her sister. It was likely she'd taken the footpath through the woods, or she'd taken to get her in the first place. I might be able to catch her if I followed, but it depended on how much of a head start she had. I followed the old driveway instead, and eventually make it to the highway. A longer path, but more straightforward one. And if I managed to flag down a car and get a ride, I might even reach the city before Mallory did. I had to pick quickly. No. I'll die in the woods. Both options seemed risky. Took my chances and started down the footpath into the woods. Already I could barely walk. My shoe felt tight and wet, and every step sent pain shooting through my soul. Especially on the rugged forest floor. I shone my flashlight back and forth across the ground and the trees, avoiding fallen branches and jutting rocks. The thought of Mallory being out here alone, sickly and without any light, terrified me. I knew I wasn't moving fast enough. I tried to pick up the pace, ignoring the throbbing pain in my foot, breathing hard through my nose. A sudden glimmer caught my eye. I turned, pointing the beam of light toward whatever I'd seen. The motion was clumpy and I lost my balance. My hand leg caught on the jutting branch as I fell. Let the fabric tear. Her slight beam showed me a white tail of a deer, scuttled by my fall and dashing away into the darkness. I managed to catch myself by grabbing a tree, but even leaning heavily against it, shivering cold, with the flashlight beginning to dim and my foot going numb, everything seemed hopeless. My heart ached to go back home, back with her. It was a few hours earlier. That's where I wanted to be. I straightened myself up, stepping back onto the path. Just clouded my vision, I blinked them away. That was when I noticed the rip in my pant leg. These were the same pants I wore the night I met Mallory, showing them coming into the cabin. The tear had been fixed with a heart patch. Oh. I remembered Mallory taking that box of clothes, seeing her later with a needle and thread as she worked to stitch up rips and fasten buttons. It's so cute. But she hadn't just mended those pants, she embroidered them. Left a sweet token of herself and her ability to love and care for others. My heart swelled and ached, and all I wanted to do was cry. Why did this have to happen? Why'd I have to lose everyone I ever dared to love? No, I refused to accept it. I stood up, my determination to find her renewed. But my body wouldn't comply with my head. It wasn't just my foot now, but most of my leg. Numb, full of pins and needles, interspersed with pain. Each stab knocking my knee at a place and sending me staggering. I wasn't going fast enough. I was holding onto the trees, used them to drag myself forward, too. Dizzy even to look at where I was going. Slowly, pale city lights grew visible through the brush. The sky was starting to lighten.
Mallory!
I called for her, but my voice came out weak and dry. I coughed and groaned. I felt like I'd never catch up with her. I'd never find her. But there, rising up before me was the city. Finally, I reached the city. The sun wasn't up yet, and the streets were... oh, so the streets were dim and mostly empty. What's with these black floaties? It reminds me of, for those that played Harvestella, the Dead season. But even then, those are red. It looked so much more decrepit than I imagined. The buildings were totally overgrown. There were broken windows and crumbling bricks. And the roads were all cracked apart. Here and there, bits of keep your distance tape. Fluttered, forgotten. People who were left did not need to be reminded. A lot of vandalism, too. I walked past one dusty-looking grocery store, which had 3 people lined up outside, each of them wearing a heavy-duty mask and spaced at least 8 feet apart from one another. I couldn't imagine how tough it must have been on Mallory and her family living here, trying to stay safe and survive in a rundown dump like this. I didn't even know where to begin. Mallory's notes that she was headed back to find her sister, but I had no idea where they lived. It was an apartment building. I was pretty certain about that, but she had never given me any other landmarks to go by. I wondered what the chances were that she ended up at a medical center, either on her own or because someone had decided to help her. After all, if the news bulletin I had received was true, she might actually be able to receive treatment. Mary told me to just keep looking for her, so I did. I carried on down the street, calling Mallory's name. Though everything seemed so deserted, there was a handful of people around who turned to look at me, puzzled. They avoided my path, and I avoided theirs. Though I was determined to keep searching, any sense of hope I had was draining fast. It had taken me such a long time to get here. Mallory could be anywhere by now. Anything could happen.
I'm looking for a girl. Please, have you seen a girl wearing purple? Her name is Mallory. Do you know where I can find her?
Someone must have seen her, but no one would tell me, no one would say. I searched for a long, long time. It was a slog, my head spun. After a while, I couldn't feel either of my feet anymore. I saw a small crowd gathered at the street up ahead, wearing gloves and masks, some of them sitting, crying, some of them standing together shaking their heads. There was a van with silent lights parked nearby, not an ambulance, but a dark non-emergency vehicle, the kind that came to collect people when they had passed. Last time I saw a van like that was when my parents died. I wandered toward the nearest group of people, stopping a little ways away from them.
What happened?
The whole group exchanged a glance. One of them answered in a somber tone.
Someone jumped off the planetarium building.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh no.
No, no, no.
Yeah, it happened a couple of hours ago, just after the sun came up. She was just laying there in the street. I'm glad they were finally able to send someone to take the body away.
There's a strange, horrible sinking feeling in my gut. I don't want to see anything like that. It's so good. A raven was cawing loudly somewhere nearby.
It was a girl?
Yeah, just a young woman. A teenager, maybe. So freaking sad.
I It couldn't have been Mallory, could it? Before I knew it, I was limping across the road, trying to see something, anything. I saw blood on the ground. I saw city personnel lifting something wrapped in a tarp, lifting it into the back of the van. I saw a mud-stained purple shoe, forgotten in the gutter. The whole world came crashing down around me. Because somehow, I'd found her. Only I was too late. I wasn't gonna make it anyway. I returned to the cabin alone. The whole scene looked wrong somehow. The land and the trees and the cabin itself all looked dried out and colorless. There was nothing welcoming about this place. Nothing that felt warm or safe. At the front porch I found a package that looked like it had been left outdoors a little too long and my heart sank.
It must be that order I placed for drone delivery. With the first aid kit and the aspirin and...
I bent down to pick up the package and sat right there on the porch to open it. There was the first aid kit, nicely stocked, the fresh bottle of aspirin, shiny and sealed, and there was the ring I bought from Mallory. The one with the dainty purple stone that reminded me so much of her. I stared at it for a while. I started talking to myself.
Do you wish you'd never met her? Yes. That's a lie. Of course it is. But I wish I'd made different choices. I wish I hadn't lost her. Yeah.
Cold brisk wind rushed past, pulling a few crisp brown leaves off the trees, sending them skittering. One thwacked me in the face before flying off into the garden.
Thanks, wind.
I stood up, put the ring on some twine or something, and wore it around my neck. Then what?
And then nothing. Maybe I'll get struck by lightning.
At least that would be something to look forward to. Meeting Mallory again in whatever afterlife there was. Maybe we could be ghosts together. At the cabin and scare off any trespassers by flapping our sheets and rattling chains. As I turned and reached for the door, something purple seemed to flash in the corner of my eye. For the briefest moment, I thought it was Mallory. But of course there was nothing there. Someday, I thought to myself, heading inside. I shut the cabin door behind me and went to put on the kettle. No! Don't give me that! I don't want that. What do you mean? Continue. Sure. It's rude! Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna head over here. And I'm gonna choose not to move it. And then do all my same choices. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pause this, do that, be right back.
Mallory,
Here.
it's real!
Or just like that. Over the highway, continue through the trees. Continue through the trees. Right as fast as I could on an uneven.
Mallory! Mallory!
I don't have to worry about being too slow because I speed. Didn't know where I was. I couldn't see anything. I just kept running, panting hard. Every breath is stabbing pain. My foot caught on something. A root or rock. I pitched forward, momentum throwing me head over heels. Not in a good way. Actually, I went flying off. Into the bushes somewhere. Instead of slamming into the ground, I just seemed to keep falling. Did I just fall off a cliff? I didn't feel the impact. I came to, sprawled across a bed of snap branches, rocks, and hard-packed earth. Water trickled somewhere nearby, a stream or a brook. The sky was so dark and everything hurt. I tried to move. Pain stopped me. Something was definitely broken. I managed to crane my neck, blinking my eyes wide open as I could. As wide open as I could. The forest sloped up and overhead. A dizzying sight, like an optical illusion.
Oh no. No.
I fell in a pitfall. Are you kidding me? I'd fallen into a dark ravine. How do you get for sprinting through the dark forest all willy-nilly? Just clouded my vision. Shut up, brain.
Mallory.
I tried to move again. Tried harder. I couldn't get up. My leg twitched and I noticed a rib in my pant leg. Same pants. Why did this happen? Why did I lose everyone I dared to love? My head was spinning. I came to understand that I had no hope of reaching Mallory. Lying cold and broken at the bottom of a forest ravine, I cried.
I'm sorry, Mallory. I'm so sorry.
I could do... Oh, all I had now were thoughts of her. What would become of us? Maybe I'll see her again. Become a ghost or something. What if I could only haunt a specific forest ravine? Damn. This is a rude achievement! Let's try that again. Yeah, let's head for the highway. Just seemed risky. I took my chances and started down the driveway toward the main road. Again, I did not move the thing. And here we go. I ran as fast as I could. Then from the flashlight bobbed and bounced ahead of me, lighting up potholes and stones for me to dart around and over. Within minutes, as I determined where the driveway met the main road, with high mast lights towering over me. The road itself was desolate, of course. Few people traveled anymore. Still, as I jogged along the shoulder in the direction of the city, I kept on cranking my flashlight, swinging it back and forth on the off chance that anyone might come along to see me. A stitch began to form in my side, making each footfall painful. I pushed through for Mallory.
Please, is anyone out there?
Nope. My adrenaline had worn off, and now there was hollowness in me. Please do not say that I'm about to get hit by a car. But then, as if my desperate voice had summoned it, a car appeared in the distance. I heard it before I saw it. When I saw it, I started waving my arms, frantic once more. Stay away from each other, said my brain.
Shut up! That's not important right now!
The car was getting closer, headlights glaring. I stood up and down, waved the flashlight, calling out.
Stop! Please! Stop! I need help!
I hope this voice actor got paid good money. This is great. The car began to slow. I hurried toward it, believing it was about to come to a stop. After a brief hesitation, the car sailed past, picking up speed and leaving me to watch its taillights fade. I fell to my knees, exhausted and hopeless. Then, once I caught my breath, I got up and started jogging again. Keep going, for Mallory. Just keep going. It wasn't too long before I heard the hum of another vehicle coming down the road. I started waving my flashlight back and forth once again. Maybe this time. And to my amazement, the car actually slowed to a stop, honking as it did. It had one of those cheeky, ridiculous musical horns.
Oh, thank you! Finally!
I stopped, leaning on my knees to catch my breath. The driver of the car reached over and rolled the window down, revealing themselves to be a sweet-looking old lady, with bottle-thick glasses perched on her nose.
Hello, dear. How can I help you?
Oh, yes, you can!
I'm trying to get to the city. Could I maybe have a ride? I promise I'm not sick. I
couldn't believe I was saying this, even though I didn't know. I could have caught the virus from Mallory easily. I could be a carrier. I could spread it. I could...
Goodness me! I'm not worried about that. Climb in, dear.
Yeah! Relief flooded me. I climbed into the car, where it smelled like toffee and knitting. What does knitting sound like? I pulled the door shut behind me. The sweet old lady in her floral dress leaned forward over her steering wheel. We carried on down the highway.
So tell me, dear, what's got a nice young thing like you in such a tizzy?
It's my friend. She's in the city and she's sick. I need to get to her. I just can't lose her to this damn virus.
Oh, well, it's not a virus. You know that, don't you, dear?
I looked at her confused.
Sorry?
It's not a virus, it's an allergy.
I hate you.
It's an allergy?
Does a sharply dressed bear poop in the woods? Yes, it's an allergy. Sure as the earth is flat.
Oh my god.
What? Wait, you think the Earth is flat?
Getting flatter every day, dear.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
I myself have quite a rash from all the flattening.
Okay. I stared at the road straight ahead. Okay, just ignore her. In a few more minutes, we'll reach the city. That's what's important.
And speaking of, dear, do you know what rhymes with flat earth? Cat earth. That's right. The cats have known all along.
I can't.
Good point. You can just drop me off near the hospital and I'll go from there. We're getting close, right?
Heavens to Betsy. You don't expect me to drive on the main roads, do you?
Why not?
She looked appalled that I would even ask such a question. And I was getting frustrated.
You realize we're on a main road now, right?
What?
Only to gasp, slamming the brakes and spinning the steering wheel left toward the trees. I shouted. Suddenly we were careening across the shallow ditch into the woods. The old woman kept jerking the wheel back and forth as she pressed the pedal closer to the metal.
Stop! Stop!
We hit something hard. Oh my. I felt it rattle up through me from beneath the car. Then seconds later came the crushing impact of the crash. Terrifying slow motion, I saw the hood and the windshield buckle and crumple toward me. No, not the horn. Then there was only darkness, and the broken, sputtering sound of that ridiculous musical horn going off. What a stupid way to go, I thought. Oh, yikes. Alright, I'm gonna do one more, which is moving the bear trap. You know what? I might do two more. It's the bear trap, moving it, and then going straight to the hospital. So we'll do that one next. Alright, let's do this. Go straight to the hospital. Boom. So it had to be my best bet. Either she'd been there already, or I'd find someone there who could help me look for her. To get my bearings, I figured out which way the hospital was. I started toward it, taking the shortest path through the streets I knew. I saw the med tent erected in the street outside of the hospital. I almost couldn't believe my eyes. It existed, just as the email bulletin said it would. But there was hardly anyone around. A medical worker decked out in PPE emerged from the tent, on the clipboard and looking around. A man with a small child called out from several feet away, and the worker began asking questions I couldn't hear. That was how they were saving the world. Quietly, with eerie calm. Daring to hope, I looked around for Mallory. If by some miracle she had made her way here, then maybe everything would actually be okay. I spotted another small group lingering nearby, and I lurched toward them.
I'm looking for a girl. Her name is Mallory. Her hair is long and white. She's wearing purple.
I moved from person to person, pleading, but no one would answer me. All of a sudden, I heard a faint squeal of a megaphone, voice crackling over the near empty street.
If you are awaiting preventative care, we ask that you remain patient while we triage symptomatic individuals. If you are currently experiencing symptoms like fever, headache, fatigue, or dry coughing, or have recently been in close contact with someone who is, please proceed to the screening area for assessment.
The medical worker was showing the man and child into the medkit now. I staggered over.
Do you see a very sick girl dressed in purple?
The medic looked at me, startled.
I'm sorry, no. Who is she? And have you been in close contact with this person?
If she's not here, can you help me find her? Because she's really sick and I need to find her and bring her here.
If you've been in contact with an infected individual, then the most important thing right now is for you to get assessed and admitted for treatment. You do understand how rapidly the virus proliferates. The sooner we can begin treatment, the better your chances will be. Please, follow me.
But no, I have to.
Please. Right now, you are potentially shedding the virus in a public space. You need to enter the med tent.
Dang. This was not my smartest move. I looked around at the near empty street. I wanted to keep arguing, but what could I say? The medic must have seen the pain and helplessness on my face.
I will try to find out about your friend. Now please. I need you to enter the med tent.
Okay. Because we know where Mallory is. Somewhere up there. This isn't going to...
I can't stop until I find her. Please, there's no one here, but she's somewhere. And if I can just find her and get her back here in time, that's a life saved.
Medic looked kind of lost. I was already backing away, getting ready to start running again. I couldn't afford to waste time arguing. Mallory might not be here, but I had a hell of a lot of city left to search.
Wait! Don't go yet.
Medic disappeared into the side of the tent. A couple of people who had been waiting nearby moved closer, hovering. They probably wanted me to race ahead of them, demanding and lure Medic's attention. But honestly, whatever. It wasn't as though there were crowds and crowds of people waiting for aid. The only thing I cared about was Mallory. Medic re-emerged, holding out a bulky handset.
Take this. It's a satellite phone. We have a few of them for contacting other med centers. As soon as you find your friend, call us. If we know where you are, we might be able to send help.
A wave of gratitude washed over me as I took the sat phone. I definitely didn't have to be told twice. Time has never been more of the essence.
Thank you! Thank you!
I was already hurrying away, with a disbelief at this blessing. I carried on down the street, calling Mallory's name. Though everything seemed so deserted, there were a handful of people who would turn to look at me puzzled. They avoided my path and I avoided theirs. Though I was determined to keep searching, any sense of hope I had was draining fast. It had taken me a long time to get here. Mallory could be anywhere by now. Anything could happen.
Looking for a girl.
Oh no! Is it gonna be the same thing?
Please, have you seen a girl?
Wasn't seeing her. Couldn't see my feet anymore. Gathering up the street, people wearing gloves and masks, some of them sitting, crying. Some of them standing together, shaking their heads. The van of silent lights. Knew it.
What happened?
Someone jumped off.
Huh.
Yeah, it happened a couple of hours ago.
It was a girl?
Yeah, just a...
No. Alright, well. Alright. Here we go. Accept it.
Okay.
It's super red. After that, everything became a blur. At the tent, I was brought to a makeshift bed. The bed was surrounded by heavy plastic curtains that distorted everything around me. The machines, the hazmat suits, the flapping canvas walls, the noisy buzz of a generator like a jackhammer in my ears. A spiral of guilt and confusion consumed me. Was I sick? No. But the horrible feelings in my body were because I had been running for so long through the night, weren't they? Or had I felt the inklings of them before? Someone checked my temperature, asked me questions, took my blood. Before I knew it, I was being wheeled from a tent to the hospital building itself for quarantine.
Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. Everything's going to be all right.
I didn't know who was talking to me, because I couldn't see anyone's faces. All I knew was I didn't really believe them. Being admitted to the hospital, receiving preventative treatment, and being monitored closely for symptoms. I was finally allowed to leave. A week had passed, and by that time there was no way for me to know what happened to Mallory. I searched for her, of course. But it wasn't like old days, where you could file a missing persons report, or when someone would find a way to contact you when your loved one's passing. I returned to the cabin alone. Found
It must be that order I placed for drone delivery. With the first aid kit and the aspirin and...
Oh, yeah! Because we haven't been home in like a week. Oh no, my chickens! There's a ring.
Do you wish you'd never... Yeah, that's a lot. Of course it is. Yeah. Thanks, Win. And then,
White lightning. Could be ghosts. We didn't even know if she died this one. Okay. What's the last one? Oh yeah, going to... here. We're gonna go to the highway. Though I could barely walk on my injured foot. My shoe felt tight and wet, every step sent pain shooting through my soul. The flashlight bobbed ahead of me, finding potholes and stones for me to step around and over. It took longer than it should have. But soon I was at the turn of the driveway. But soon I was at the turn where the driveway met the main road. With high mass lights towering over me. The road itself was desolate, of course. Few people traveled anymore. Still, I was staggering along the shoulder of the road of the city. I kept on cranking my flashlight, swinging it back and forth, in the off chance that anyone might come along to see me. Where Mallory kept me going, but for a long, long time. It felt like a ghost world.
Please, is anyone out there?
Nope. My voice held more despair than I ever realized I was feeling. Then, as if my desperate voice had summoned it, a car appeared in the distance. I heard it before I saw it. And when I saw it, I started waving my arms again. You're supposed to stay away from people, my brain reminded me.
Shut up! That's not important right now!
I was getting closer, the headlights glaring. I tried to jump, but my foot hurt too much.
Stop! Please! Stop! I need help!
I began to slow, I stumbled toward it. The window rolled down, the driver peered out, saw my bloodied foot and gasped.
Oh my god, what happened to you?
I'm trying to get to the city. Please, I'm hurt, and she's...
I couldn't even say it. How could I explain it?
Get in, I'll take you to the hospital.
Thank you! I wanted to cry. I helped to the passenger's door and climbed in. By car, the city rose up around us within minutes. As we moved through the dim, pre-drawn streets, looked out at the place I hoped I'd never return to. It looked so much more decrepit than I imagined. The buildings were totally overgrown. There were broken windows and crumbling bricks, and the roads were all cracked apart. Here and there, bits of cupid dishes seemed fluttered, forgotten. People who were left didn't need to be reminded. A lot of vandalism. We drove past one dusty-looking grocery store that had 3 people lined up outside, 2 of them wearing heavy-duty masks and spacing at least 8 feet apart from one another. I can imagine how tough it must have been on Mallory and her family to keep living here, trying to stay safe and survive in a run-down dump like this. The hospital came into view pretty quickly. I thanked the driver profusely for the ride, hopping out of the car almost before I'd even fully stopped. When I saw the med tent erected in the street outside of the hospital, I almost couldn't believe my eyes. It existed, just like the email bulletin said it would. There was hardly anyone around. A medical worker decked out in PPE emerged from the tent, holding a clipboard and looking around. A small child called out several feet away, and the worker began asking questions I couldn't hear. So they were saving the world. Daring to hope, I looked around for Mallory. By some miracle, she had made her way here. Then maybe everything would actually be okay. Spot another small group.
I'm looking for a girl. Her name is Mallory. Her hair is long and white. She's wearing purple.
Pressed the person pleading, but no one would answer me. Suddenly I heard a faint squeal of a megaphone. A voice creaked through the near empty street.
If you are awaiting preventative care...
We already saw all of this. I'm going to... another one of these, see if it's any different.
I can't stop until...
Find Mallory. Nope. Alright.
Okay.
Treatment. Alright. I think that's it for cabin fever. You know what? No, I wanna go back to the funny ending. Or like the funny song for the ending. Where is it? This one. Which is the highway. There we go. Alright. That's it for cabin fever. I did enjoy the game. I thought it was really fun. I really like Mallory. And she is baby girl. But yeah, I'd recommend playing this game yourself and then doing all the different choices. Like actually doing the different choices and seeing what kind of outcome you can get. Because clearly, I'm not very good at this. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you next time.